Morning,
Hello.
everyone. Andy Allen here from Three Blue Ducks. I'm joined by my mate Marky and my mate Daz, who is somewhere on the screen as well. Say good day, boys.
How's it going?
Hello,
How are you?
everybody.
We're
Nice
here
to hear
to
your voice,
do.
Andy.
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it, Daz? It's been a long time since we've caught up. I'm in
Long
Melbourne.
time no
Daz,
see.
where are you?
Yeah. So I'm up in
Daz is in
Byron.
Byron.
It's sunny.
Marky's in
It's
Sydney.
actually sunny today. Yeah.
Well, I'm south.
Yeah.
I'm south.
So
I'm in Austin.
And so we're here today to do Australia's the best Australian brunch that we can do. We'll talk about Three Blue Ducks before, but that's really what we've prided ourselves on for the last 10 years, really taking breakfast and putting it into another realm. So I'm going to do a dish with exo butter mushroom scramble. Daz, what's your dish?
So during all this lockdown, we've been. I've just noticed there's a lot of people cooking, which is great. A lot more cooking at home, but specifically sourdough's just gone off the chain. Like heaps of my mates phoning me up and asking Annie make
Guilty.
sourdough and stuff. So if you're making sourdough, typically you have to throw away a bit of the mother or the starter. So instead of that going to waste, I've been making crumpets. So I'm making this like big badass like mother crumpet. So I was going to do that today with a little bit of crab. So I've got some crab and sort of bits and pieces from the farm. But I don't want to reveal too much yet, Andy.
Yeah, same. That's why I just said I kept mine very simple, so I've got something to talk about. And Marky, what are you doing, mate? You going out and shot some fish?
No, I went fishing yesterday. It was a bit of an unsuccessful day, to be honest. So we had to end up eating our bait, which we just caught a couple of slimy mackerels. But they're still bloody delicious.
Nice.
And then, so I'm going to do a smoked kingfish dish. So I've got a kingfish that I've just got hanging out in the brine here. And then I'm going to smoke it outside in the yard. And I'm going to do that with a horseradish cream, a beetroot relish, and a like a buttery fried piece of sourdough. I reckon that should be okay.
Very nice, mate.
Sounds epic.
The big
Who's using
guns.
the creme fraiche?
Nice.
Marky's
So there's
using
been a
the
bit.
creme fraiche. There's a war. There's a war over who can do what.
There's a creme fraiche war of the Three Blue Ducks.
There's a bloody scrambled
Right,
eggs
so
war.
Mark, there's been a bit of controversy around these dishes. So we've been planning these for a few weeks, and Marky's put a ban on Andy and I using creme fraiche in our dishes, just for you all to know that. So I'm expecting big things, Marky, from this bloody creme fraiche.
Yeah,
number.
you better make that the best
Mate.
creme fraiche ever.
Let me straighten this up now. I was going to do a little
I think I've got to
scrambled eggs
start my
number,
dish. No.
and then somebody else decided to steal my scrambled eggs number, so I had to change. So I'm accommodating to Andy because he's obviously so famous now. So anyway.
Oh God, you talk shit.
All right.
Mm.
And so
Right,
it's probably worth mentioning. Yeah, go on.
You go, Daz.
Well, it's probably worth mentioning at this point. So whatever we come up with today is going to be on the menu at the Ducks. I hope. So obviously, so I'm up in Byron. So we're going to put on what I make today and one of your dishes. And it'll be available from tomorrow, Andy. And Marky, I'm not sure about yours yet, but we'll.
Yeah, I'm going to do the do the
smoked
fish, and I'm going to do I think I'm going to do Andy's exo. The mother sourdough could be a little bit tricky to get hands on bulk of that. Well, I just need to get one started, to be honest.
Yeah, cool. All right then. So should we crack on? Who wants to kick off?
Yeah. I might kick off. I might get my exo on. So I think how it's going to work, we're going to do 5. I'm going to do 5. Mark's going to do 5. Then Daz is going to do 5. Then we'll do that again, and then we'll all link up at the end and show our dishes.
Hang
on.
I've just got one thing I've got to do. I've got to
That's too late.
I've got to put
the creme fraiche on.
Too late. No, I got to get my fish on. I got to get my fish in the smoker. So you need to come and have a look at what I'm doing. All right.
Right, Marky's going rogue. This is totally off script. Perfect.
No,
Mate,
I just need to get my fish on, and then it's all yours.
Go.
Otherwise, we won't cooking time.
Go for it,
So I've just put this kingfish tail into a brine and left that overnight. The reason why I've put it in a brine is because I want to try and infuse as much flavour as I can into it, and pull some of the liquid of the fish out. And then the spice mix in the recipe with the mountain pepper and juniper and brown sugar and salt. I'm just going to throw that over the top of it pretty liberally, and then chuck it into the smoker, and then that's it, Andy. You can take the platform. So
you're good. You're good.
No, I'm just going to put it into my smoker. I want people to see the.
Yeah. Do you want to? Yeah. Is it in there?
Marky's going rogue already.
No,
He's
I'm not.
going rogue.
I just got to cook my fish.
Totally off script.
And at this point, if anyone at home
Adventures
watching
with
has got
Marky
any
LaBrooy.
questions for any of us, if anyone's got any questions, just go nuts. Don't be shy. Now's your chance.
Hang on. I'm just that's it. It's yours.
You on? Righto. I'm going to start the exo.
Yeah.
So as I kind of mentioned before, I'm going to do a little exo butter mushroom scramble dish with some chili roasted peanuts and some toasted sourdough. We'll get onto everything throughout the recipe, but I'm going to start getting the exo on. So we make an exo butter. Makes it a lot more, especially for a breakfast dish. Exo is normally quite hectic and bright and really powerful, but the butter just kind of mellows it down and goes really, really well with the mushrooms. So I'm going to get on to kind of like the paste. So I've got about 100 grams of chilies in there, which I've just chopped up, help the old blender out. About 20 grams or 25 grams of ginger, sliced up. 50 grams of garlic. And then this is where the exo is made, basically. This is the dried scallop, which I've just been soaking in water for probably about 3 hours, just so it breaks down and rehydrates, and the dried shrimp as well. And that's what gives it a super umami like funk about it. And I think that's what makes people love exo, is that really pungent flavor that it gives. And then I've got some shrimp paste here, which I've just sort of dry roasted to get it going. And then I've got some smoked streaky bacon here. It's normally called for pancetta or prosciutto or something like that. But at the Ducks, just to make it ours, we get a really smoky streaky bacon. So I'll just roughly chop that. And then that can go in. And I'm just going to put a touch of this water that the scallops were soaking in, just to help the old blender out. And then we'll go and blend this guy up. Let's have a look. Just go a little bit more. Okay, that should be blended up. It doesn't matter if it's not super fine. It's going to cook down for a long time, so that's kind of what we're looking at there. And it just smells intense, which is good. Now, I've got like half a bunch of spring onions. And then I'm just going to chop the ends off and slice them up. And this is we're going to fry these off in some butter, which I've got melting over the stove. That should be sweet. Okay, come around here, my beautiful filmer, fiance, lovely person. So I've just got 250 grams of butter, which I've just melted down. And then we can go in with the spring onions. And we're just going to fry those off just until they start to soften. So while that's going on, we'll just talk about our mushrooms. You want to use quite a meaty mushroom for this because the exo has a lot of flavour. So I've been lucky enough to get a few pine mushrooms. And then I've got these little baby shiitakes as well, which have so much flavour. So we'll cut these up quite chunky, the pine mushrooms, because you don't want to finely slice them because then they just get lost. You want to have the mushroom have still quite a bit of bite about it, so that you can taste mushroom and exo, not just a blended version of mushroom and exo. And then we'll just finish these little shiitakes at the end because they're quite small. So So we're going to Marky in 15 seconds. So I'll get steps are we'll get our paste in. We're going to cook that down until it gets like a deep red color like that, and then we'll fry off some mushrooms when you guys come back. So, Marky, you ready for your time to shine, mate?
I'm ready.
Marky.
I'm ready, mate. So,
He's on, big fella.
Mate, take it easy. So before, when all the boys are making a fuss about the kingfish going in the smoker, that's in there at the moment. And then I'll probably just talk to you about what my mix is. There's a recipe for it, but you probably want to have it. Can you see in there? So there's like a pepperberry, juniper, brown sugar, flake salt, chili, and a little bit of coriander seeds. And then I'm going to have, like, so after I've brined my fish with very similar flavors and aromats, with salt and sugar, that's going to draw heaps of liquid out of the fish and then allow me to impregnate some pretty serious flavor. And then it's going to sit in the smoker. I haven't actually had to smoke a piece of fish live before, so I don't know how long the bloody thing is going to take. So that's why I put that in there first. The next steps that I have for my dish is a toast. I'm going to just do like a buttery fried sourdough in the pan. And then I've also made a beetroot relish. So my beetroot relish was just beets grated on the box grater, with some star anise, cinnamon, and chili and garlic, just in whole, like fresh chili and fresh garlic as whole bulbs. And then I just cook that down with some vinegar and some sugar. And then just before, when it's still got a little bit of bite to it, I stick it into the jar and lid it, and it sort of steams and goes the rest of the way through. So you can kind of see it's very colourful. So that should be good. And then I should probably think about making my little cream fresh number, which seems to have razzed a few feathers. So in a bowl here, I've just got chives, dill, horseradish, and capers. And then I'm just going to give that the whole thing cream fresh and just give it a bit of this sort of action. And then I've got, we had our first lemon from the lemon tree this morning. So I'm just going to put some lemon zest into that. And then I'm just going to knock a little bit of juice as well. It's pretty juicy. There's only one lemon on the thing. So that's going to be the base of building my smoked fish sandwich. So I'm just going to cut some slabs of bread, of sourdough, and we've got some cultured butter. Oh, hello. We've got some, we make this at Three Blue Ducks, cultured butter. You can come and buy some if you like. So I'm just going to cut a few slabs of sourdough and get this on in here. And then I suppose I'm just going to have to wait for my fish to come back. And I think that's me. That's almost me for my first little bit, boys.
Is that you? Nice, mate. Nice work with the creme fraiche there, Marky.
Yeah, that was perfect use of creme fraiche, I reckon.
That was
guys. Thanks for the support, team. Cheeky buggers. I think it's you, Daz.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So I'm going to do a crumpet. Like I was saying before, a lot of people have got an interest in making sourdough, and they're starting to make their own starter and mother. Lots of how-tos online. I've put one up on my Insta. We'll put one on the Ducks Insta as well. But very, very easy. So with our mother or starter, I've you basically, you take it, the recipe, I've had to write this down because I'm used to remembering recipes, but it's basically 175 grams of starter, 200 mils of milk, 100 mil of water, and you warm that up so it's kind of tepid. You mix that in with the starter so it almost like disintegrates, and then you wind in 200 grams of baker's flour. Mix it up, leave it in a bowl, and pop a cloth on it overnight, and then just leave it on your kitchen bench. And then the next morning when you get up, you're going to want to season it with salt, a pinch of sugar because it helps the caramelization, and so that's going to knock out the air. And so to re-inflate it, you add a bit of bicarb mixed with vinegar, and so the acid reacts with the bicarb, then puffs it up and aerates it. And this is what you want. So this is the consistency. So it's fairly loose and doughy. You can see it's really nice and aerated there. It takes about sort of 15 minutes to bring it up. So I tend to, like, the kids absolutely love these. So I would get up, mix the vinegar, sugar, and salt, bicarb, mix it in, and then just go and bloody get dressed, dress the kids, brush your teeth, make a coffee, whatever. So that's it. So then if you come around here, James, got James on camera as one of the weapon chefs at Three Blue Ducks. Thank you, James. And then, so really, when you're making crumpets, you just want to get a really, really hot pan and start it off. And like, I think the perfect crumpet for me is like really golden brown and crispy on the bottom, and then sort of chewy and fluffy in the exterior to soak up all that sort of beautiful butter. Now you can make a big guy. I've been making big ones on the cast iron pan and a cake tin, and just brush that with butter. And you can make this recipe. You can just do one and stick it in the middle of the table. And we put like bananas and blueberries and whipped ricotta and all sorts with it. But we're going to do individual today. I think at restaurants, we've got this new like 10 guest law in, which is pretty good, but everything's got to be individually plated. So like I say, we're going to make these at the Ducks tomorrow. So you want a hot pan, get a little bit of, I like to use ghee. We can use some oil or maybe a little bit of butter, but ghee is great because it doesn't burn so much. Pop that in there. So it's pretty much, it's almost smoking. And I'll take our mix, and I'm just going to wind in a spoon here. Let me turn on the heat a bit. And then, like that. So pop them in there. Maybe a touch more. And then that's our crumpet. And I'll just push him round, like so. And so really what you want, so if you want a perfect one, obviously you can use a crumpet ring and all that sort of jazz, but I'm not going to bother. I quite like it a little bit sort of rustic. So I want to colour this up. You'll see it going this kind of golden brown around the outside. Once it starts doing that, just knock the heat down, and then you'll see these little bubbles. You get those like classic sort of crumpet bubbles form in the middle. And you just want to slowly cook it. That'll probably take about 5 to 6 minutes to cook. Then you'll flip him over, just colour it on the top, and then that's it. And then we'll top this with whatever you like. So for this, I thought I'd do a savoury number. So in Australia, some of my like fondest memories are just going to, say, places like Stradbroke Island and just grabbing heaps of like fresh seafood, spanner crabs, bugs, prawns, and enjoying that just like on the beach or in campsites. So I thought today I'd keep it savoury. We live between the ocean and the river, and there's heaps of these guys around at the moment. So this is a mud crab. But you could use whatever you like. You could use, bug meat, prawns, crayfish is really nice. Even like smoky bacon and honey, whatever you like. So we're going to do this. I'm going to poach a couple of eggs. James, if you want, you can come back. So because it's a bit of a brunch thing, we've got eggs from the farm. I'm sure you can all poach an egg, but basically, there you go. Just a little bit of butter there. Okay. So you can see the hole starting to form here. And now I'm going to turn it down. I'm just going to get that slowly cook. A little bit of butter there. Now, when you're poaching eggs, I like to use a non-stick pan, fairly shallow, enough water just to cover the eggs, a little bit of vinegar, and that's just going to set the proteins. And then we're just going to poach these. So the eggs will take 4 or 5 minutes, which will be the same time as the crumpet will take, and it will all come together at the end in some sort of harmonic way. Hey, Marky. Good. 2 eggs.
I can't see what you're doing. I can just hear it.
It sounds good.
And that's it. So
sounds great.
So eggs are on. Crumpet's there. The crumpet's looking good. This recipe will pop on. So Three Blue Ducks on Insta or Darren Robertson Food will pop up the recipe. It will make 1 big crumpet. It will make 4 this size. Easy, but I highly recommend it. So when we come back, I'll talk to you more about the crab. We're going to pick this down, and then we're just going to make a little bit of a crab butter. So we're going to foam up some butter and pop some miso, just to make it sort of salty and kind of umami, a little bit of acid, and then there's some other bits and pieces. So I think, Andy, I think it's over to you, mate.
I'm on. Righto. Okay, let's talk EXO first. So that's how it starts. It's going to go for 45 minutes, and then that's how it ends. So see how it's got that real deep, rich colour. That's the money. And now in my pan, I've got the mushrooms. So I'm starting with the pine mushrooms. And I'm just going to quickly fry those off in a little bit of oil. Just like a bit of rice bran, I'll get it really, really hot, and we'll get some colour on them. Then we'll transfer them to a bowl and roll them in the EXO. And then we'll do our scrambled eggs. So while the mushies is going, I've got my my chili roasted sesame peanuts here. So all I've done is roasted some unsalted peanuts. And then in the pan, the lowest heat you can possibly get, I've gone the peanuts. I've gone about a tablespoon of toasted sesame seeds and a tablespoon of chili flakes. I've used the Korean chili flakes because I've been doing some kimchi, and they're quite mild, so you can go pretty hard with them. And then from there, you just slowly cook them down, and the chili, all the colour and flavour starts to leach out into the oil from the chili flakes. And then I put a bit of sweet soy in, and I put a bit of light soy in. That seasons them up really well, and they start to clump together. And once that happens, we just want to turn the heat off and just let them sit, and they'll go really crunchy, and they'll absorb all that oil, and that's what we're looking for. So this will garnish our dish, so they can stay off the heat. Our mushies look pretty good. As I said, they only need a couple of minutes. And then we'll go into our bowl. I might chuck those shiitakes in for a sec. They'll literally need 30 seconds, those shiitakes. And then we'll get on to our scrambled eggs, which I have to say, when Mark LaBrooy showed me this technique of cooking scrambled eggs, I thought it was the best thing ever because they're cooked in 10 seconds. So we'll go mushies in. Let's see if I can. And then the pan back on because we're going to use the same pan and get it nice and hot. And then I'll just spoon in. So with that EXO, just before I took it off the heat, I seasoned it with soy, salt, and lime juice. And we'll chuck a couple of tablespoons in there. And we'll just mix that all around. And those mushies are just going to suck up all of that hectic EXO butter. And we'll just keep them warm. We'll see our pan. We just want it before smoking point. I'll give it a little lick of oil. And now our eggs, I've just scrambled a couple of eggs, free-range eggs there. A little bit of salt. I'll get our toast down because we're pretty much going to pull this thing together pretty soon. How long have I got on my little session? Yeah? Keep going? Righto. So, I got my spatula. Yeah? I got my spatula. I'm going to go in with the eggs. And then I'm just going to slowly work the eggs around the pan. And we're kind of just bringing them together and forming the shape that we want the eggs to be. So that's pretty much the eggs. And then you just, any raw bits that are on top, you just kind of brush to the edges and they'll cook up. And that's our scrambled eggs. They're ready to go. So that was the tutorial. I'm going to do another one fresh for the dish while Daz and while Marky are doing their thing. And that's my dish. So toast down, mushrooms are in the EXO, scrambled eggs are done. We'll garnish with the peanuts. I'll char some spring onions and a bit of coriander over the top. That's really my dish. We'll bring it all together at the end. Who's up? Marky boy, how's the fish?
I'm up. So in the break, while you guys were chatting, I checked on my fish, and lo and behold, it wasn't quite ready, but that's all right. And then, so I've just was showing you another very special thing, is how to make fried bread. So I've just got cultured butter into a frying pan with some sourdough, and have a look at those puppies. Like, that's some pretty crispy golden badness. So, I suppose it's going to come time to make up my fish dish. So I think we should have a little look at the smoker and see if that's going to be ready. Just have a little waltz down here. Hey, Bert. So it's definitely smoking, but if you have a look on the side here, it's still holding a little bit of moisture, and it hasn't sort of permeated and sort of cooked through and firmed up. So luckily for me, I made another one of these, but I just wanted to show the smoking process because it's kind of fun. So we've got, yeah, I'm like Andy, I can build mine up right now. So what I'm going to do is take my buttery fried bread, and then I'm just going to take this kingfish, and you can see how like it's moist and pulls apart and it's so full of flavor. So what I'm going to do is just liberally smear on some of my creme fraiche, and that's going to be the opening layer, the opening layer of my sandwich here. And then don't be shy with the fish. A bit of fish in there. And then I'm going to use the beetroot relish that we made the other morning. And then that's just going to be sort of scattered over the top in some of the little pockets there. And then I have some fresh dill, and that is pretty much, that's my sandwich. That's my brunchy smoked Kiramasa kingfish sandwich. That's me. Yeah. I think you're up, Geezer.
That looks epic. That looks really cool. Yeah, that looks awesome. Very fancy plates as well.
Well, yeah, you like those, do you?
I can't see it, but I can't see it, but I bet you it looks good.
It looks really cool. That looks epic. All right, cool. Mate, that's sick.
Cheers, boys.
All right, so, okay, so look, get in here, James. So this is the crumpet. So it's kind of like I say, it's really crispy. What are you laughing at? It's like really crispy on one side. That's what you want. And it's kind of like beautiful and aerated. You can see that sort of classic crumpet aeration. So that's cool. Sort of happy with that. Eggs. So the eggs are ready. So a little tip at home. So just when you take your poached eggs out, it's always good to have a little cloth, a tea towels and tissue, and then just sort of touch it with a holy spoon there. And just prevents from getting like soggy toast. Season your eggs with a bit of flake salt, a bit of Olsen salt there, and pepper. And there's our poaches. And then the crab. So we could pick down the muddy, and that would be great. But at the ducks, we're going to do some Queensland spanner crab. So you can get this from your fishmonger or fish markets. It comes already picked. So these it's like beautiful and sweet meat. And we're just going to quick fry that. So I've got some a bit of garlic here. So Josh and Lynette at the farm, they grow their own garlic. And it's awesome. It's like really, really sweet. And so we'll fry a bit of this off. Over here, James. And that's it. Fry a bit of that. Bit of butter in there. Like so. Tossing around very quickly. And then salt and pepper. Like so. You can add chili at this point if you like. There you go. A little bit of oil. So we've got some smoked olive oil here, which we smoke at the ducks. And you can buy that if you like. And then we're just going to go crab straight in.
Oh, boom. Heavy crab goes
Like
there.
that. I might as well. You like that? No expense spared, Marky, for you. And then just quickly flash fry this. Hey?
I'd love to eat that. That looks amazing.
Yeah, and so literally that will take sort of a minute to cook. So we'll cook it a little bit of colour, and then we'll just season that with some acid. So we'll season it with some lime juice, but you can use obviously lemon. We had some lady bring around a box of yuzus yesterday, which is so nice. Someone just moved into the area. She's got a yuzu tree. Didn't know what to do with them. Just came to the ducks and gave us some yuzus. Which is so lovely. So just give that a little toss. That's that. And into that, I'm just going to add a touch of a little bit of miso as well, just to sort of flavour him up. And I'll just sort of mix that around like so. Got miso in there. That's more butter. And then that's it. And then we'll just season it with some juice. And that's him done. So that will carry on cooking. So we'll take him over for a bit of a plate up. So we have, so it's going to be the crumpet on the base there. And then here, so you could use creme fraiche, you could use whatever you like, but I've made a corn cream. So we've got like a macadamia plantation. There's one on the farm. So loads of macadamias up around Byron at the moment. So we've basically cooked down some corn and blitzed it up and finished it with macadamias, a little bit of lemon juice and olive oil. So we'll have that as our cream. And then on top of that, we'll just pop our crab meat, like so. So we'll just arrange some of this puppy, like that. And then on top of our crab, a bit of smells absolutely amazing. So then we're going to wind one of our little poached eggs. And then we've got a little salad. So I've got, so there's, the guys from the farm actually came around and planted a load of herbs with me and the kids a few weeks ago. So we've got some sort of herbs from the garden. So we've got nasturtium, fennel, chervil, lemon balm, spring onion, and I'm going to wind through a little bit of chili. So just make a little bit of a salad with lime juice and olive oil. Toss that through, and I've got some more of the corn. I've just charred this up. So we try and use the whole thing at the duck. So like the leaves you can char up, and you blitz up, make powders, and they kind of take on this sort of coffee, chocolatey note. The hair, you actually make tea out of this here. So it's supposed to be really, really calming. And then we're going to take off the corn and we're going to toss that through the salad. So you get this little pop, and because it's sort of charred up, you get this little nice smoky note, which will go really well with the crab as well. How am I going for time? Am I sort of right? So
just keep going. I'm sure you'll be fine.
Oh yeah, mate. It like
oh really?
You need what you need.
Oh cool. Yeah, sick. All right. So corn in, some scallions. Chili. I was going to pickle that, but I don't think I'll bother. Just some picked chervil, our fennel tips, which is awesome. But if you're making this at home, you can just parsley and mince, lovely. Lemon balm, and I've just got some roasted macadamias for a bit more crunch as well. And then this here, you guys probably know what this, but there's loads of finger lime around at the moment. So it's just this little lime caviar, which I thought grows on the farm. It's all around the northern rivers. And so I'm just going to pop some finger lime in it as well. And then we'll just season that up, a little bit of lime juice and olive oil, salt and pepper. And that's
it's not like you to make a dish that's got about 35 steps to it, either.
Mate, it's the most luxe crumpet in the world.
It's unbelievable.
It just it seems a lot, but all it is like a crumpet with crab and corn. Like it's just.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You make it sound so simple.
So that's it. So we'll just we'll pop on our garnish on top, like that, and there we go. Here's our little puppet. What do you reckon?
Super colourful. It's really nice.
Epic, Dad.
Really colourful.
So we've got the old little bit of chili salt, all of it. Go on.
Once you're done, let me know when you're done. I'm just going to run through what's on my dish.
Yeah, cool. So that's so really that's my dish. And again, loads of variations. If I just recommend just make the crumpet and just do it with some blueberries and yogurt and honey, and it's just they're absolutely delicious. But if you want to pull out the big guns and impress Andy and Marky, you've got to go the old crab. That's me, Andy.
Nice one, mate. You've impressed me, don't you worry.
Actually, I forgot the truffle. I've got to shave some truffle over the top.
Yeah, get out of here. Get out of here.
He's not joking either. He's not joking. I just wanted to show you how it's all plated up. So I got the toasted sourdough on the bottom, which I just brushed with a bit of that the butter that rose to the top of the XO. Then the scrambled eggs, which I just placed on top of the old the toasted sourdough. Top with the mushrooms,
Nice eggs,
top with a few of those peanuts, and then some coriander, and then just a charred spring onion. I think there's a question about the nuts. Can you do the nuts with any other nuts? Yeah, go for it. Cashews would be epic. And they're just so good just for a snack, straight up like that. But I think that's it. What do you lads reckon?
We're
Are
actually
you guys hoeing in or what?
I'm about to.
So Andy, we're going to do your dish tomorrow in Byron. So we've actually we're going to make we've made the XO just using shiitakes and tomatoes and stuff. So we've got like it's kind of like a vegetarian XO. Yep. So we're going to put that on the menu. We'll put this puppy as well. And then we're also going to do sort of combine the two. And on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're going to make an XO pippy crumpet as part of like a 5-course menu. So look, if you're in if you're in Byron, come and say hello. You know, we've got a lot of restaurants now are slowly opening, and I know it's been tough for everyone, but there's hopefully the future's looking a bit brighter. So please get out there and support your local cafe and restaurant and producers and stuff, because we're not out of the woods yet. But
And I think before we head off, I think Marky's going to try and get the XO butter jarred up. And that can be an add-on to our produce boxes in Bronte, and maybe we can get that going in Byron as well. Because we're doing the little produce boxes.
We are actually
for the essentials.
I want to do the beetroot. Going to do the beetroot relish.
Yeah, cool.
As well, all the things that you can sort of see from all of us, except for the crumpets, I don't think, will be available from the Sydney restaurant. And then we've got a fruit and veg box that we're doing as well out of there. So there's heaps of stuff that makes like cooking at home a lot easier. Some peri chickens and some sticky glazed ducks and chocolate brownies.
And the recipes too. Well, the recipes.
And the recipes
the recipes are on our website. You can also go to @FreeGoodDucks, our Instagram. Go to my Instagram, Andy Allen Cooks, Darren Robertson Food. Mark 3
little puppy here,
all of our
the classic.
That'll be fun. I think we're done. What do you reckon?
And you guys,
have we done the ultimate brunch?
I want to eat mine.
Are we eating?
So this is it.
Up on the food. Oh,
there we go. I'm just going a little. So that's it. So check out the recipes. It's delicious. I'm so happy with it. Yeah. Yours looks epic.
Everyone's so good. Epic. Cool. Should we sign off, lads?
Nice one.
Ducks Brunch. Live from Oz. Anything else you want to say, Marky?
Cheers.
No, thanks for inviting us. Thanks for watching. Feel very lucky.
Yeah, we've had a good time. Good. Have fun with the rest of the segments of Savo. Some good stuff coming up.
Yeah, I look forward to. I think it's all on Facebook. I want to.